You know that moment when everything feels right? The connection is strong. The conversations flow easily. He looks at you like you're the only person in the world. And then, out of nowhere, he starts to pull away. The texts slow down. He's suddenly busy. Plans get vague. Something shifts in the energy, and you can feel it in your gut. And the worst part? You replay every little detail in your head, trying to figure out what you did wrong. Was it something you said? Did you text too much? Were you too available? You start questioning everything, your words, your actions, even your worth. But here's the truth most men will never tell you. It's not about you. It's about him. When a man pulls away, especially after things were going so well, it's usually not because he's lost interest. It's because he's feeling something deeper that he doesn't fully understand himself. Something that scares him more than rejection ever could. Let me explain. Men don't process emotions the same way women do. When a woman feels closeness, she often feels safer. She opens up more, she wants to connect deeper, share more of herself. But for many men, that same closeness can trigger something else entirely. Pressure, vulnerability, fear. Because emotional intimacy requires a man to step out from behind the walls he's built his whole life. From a young age, most men are taught to be strong, to be logical, to handle things on their own. Don't cry. Be tough. Figure it out yourself. These messages get wired deep into their psychology. So when a man starts feeling attached, when his emotions begin to grow beyond his control, it creates a kind of inner conflict. He enjoys the connection, craves it even, but part of him panics because suddenly he's no longer fully in control of his heart. And that loss of control can feel terrifying, like standing on the edge of a cliff he never agreed to climb. So what does he do? He pulls back, not because he doesn't care, but because he's trying to regain balance. He needs space to process feelings he can't yet name, emotions that don't fit into neat logical boxes. Sometimes that space looks like distance, sometimes silence. Sometimes it's just him going cold without explanation. And yes, it hurts, especially when you don't understand what's really happening beneath the surface. But here's where most women make a critical mistake. They feel the man pulling away, and they start chasing the connection. They text more. They ask what's wrong. They try to fix it. They offer reassurance he didn't ask for. And I get it. That reaction comes from care, from love, not desperation. You want to save what you felt slipping away. But to a man in that headspace, it can feel like pressure. The very thing he's trying to escape. The very thing that triggered his retreat in the first place. So the harder you try to bring him closer, the further he retreats. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because he needs to feel his own desire to come back. He needs space to miss you, to realize what life feels like without your presence. He needs to choose you again, freely, not out of guilt or obligation or fear of losing you. Let me tell you something important that might change how you see this entire situation. When a man truly values you, distance isn't the end. It's a phase. It's a test, not of your worth, but of his emotional capacity, his readiness, his ability to show up. If you can hold your ground during that phase, stay calm, stay centered, keep your energy soft but confident. You give him the space to reconnect in his own time, without drama, without pressure, without making him feel like he's failed you. See, men don't fall in love through constant communication or endless reassurance. They fall in love through absence, through missing you, through feeling the void you leave behind. When he steps back and realizes that his world feels a little colder without your presence, that his days feel emptier, that he actually needs what you brought into his life, that's when his heart catches up to what his mind was running from. Think about it this way. Attraction is built in space. When you're always there, always available, always trying to keep the connection alive, you remove the mystery, the tension, the chance for him to wonder about you. But when you step back too, when you give him room to breathe and think, you become the thought he can't escape, the feeling he keeps coming back to when everything else goes quiet. Now, I'm not saying you should sit around waiting for him to figure it out. Your life shouldn't pause because someone else is confused about their feelings. That's where your power lives, in continuing to move forward regardless. Keep doing what lights you up. Go out with friends, pour energy into your passions, focus on your goals, stay deeply connected to yourself and your purpose. Because when you do that, you remain in your power. You remind yourself that your happiness was never dependent on someone else's presence, and that energy is magnetic beyond measure. Men are drawn to women who don't lose themselves when things get uncertain. Women who don't crumble when the connection wavers. When you stay graceful in the unknown, you show him something rare in today's world: emotional maturity. You show him that you're not going to punish him for needing space, that you understand human complexity. But you're also not going to shrink yourself or abandon your standards to fit his confusion. That balance, compassion mixed with self-respect, is what makes a man realize he's found someone truly extraordinary. Because here's what happens in his mind during that distance. At first, the space feels good, relief, freedom, like he can breathe again. But then days pass, maybe a week, maybe two, and slowly he starts to notice your absence in ways he didn't expect. The inside jokes no one else gets. The way you listened when he talked about things that mattered. The comfort he felt in your presence that he took for granted. He starts scrolling through old messages, looking at pictures, remembering moments. And that's when the shift happens, when he realizes that pulling away did not solve the problem. It just made him understand what he actually lost. Now some men, when they pull away, never come back. And that's okay too. Actually, it's more than okay. It's necessary information. Sometimes distance reveals truth, that the connection wasn't built to last, that he wasn't emotionally available, that his feelings weren't as deep as yours. And as painful as that realization is, it saves you from investing more time in something that would have eventually crumbled anyway. But other times, he returns, different, clearer, more present, more intentional, because he's faced his own fears in that silence and realized you're not the problem. You're actually the solution. You're the calm in his storm, the steady ground beneath his chaos. So if you're in that place right now, if a man has suddenly gone quiet and you're lying awake wondering what happened, replaying conversations, analyzing every interaction, I need you to do something. Stop. Take a breath. Step back from the spiral. Don't panic. Don't overanalyze every text or lack of text. Don't create stories in your head about what his silence means. Just breathe. Trust that if this connection is meant for you, it won't require chasing, convincing, or changing yourself. And if it doesn't come back, then understand this deeply. Your peace was never meant to be sacrificed for someone else's confusion. You deserve a love that doesn't make you question your worth every other day. A love that feels steady, not conditional. A love where you don't have to decode silence or beg for clarity. You deserve someone who knows what they want and isn't afraid to show up for it. For you, men pull away not because love disappears, but because sometimes they need to lose the illusion of control to learn what love really means. They need to feel the weight of your absence, to appreciate the gift of your presence. They need to sit with their fears alone to realize those fears are smaller than what they could lose. Give him space to find that out. But never, ever lose yourself in the waiting. Never put your life on hold. Never dim your light hoping it will make him comfortable enough to return. Because the right man, when he steps back and realizes what he's about to lose, when he feels the emptiness where you used to be, he won't stay away for long. He'll come back. Not with excuses, but with clarity. Not with confusion, but with intention. And when he does, you'll know the difference. You'll feel it in how he shows up. Consistent, present, ready. And if he doesn't, then you'll know something even more valuable. You're stronger than you thought. And the space he left is actually an opening for something better.